All right, hello. Again, I forgot to mention something in a previous video to do with the dartboard and the Stargate sequence. So I'll just show you this now. And unfortunately, this is probably going to be a little bit longer than just what it should be, a 2-minute video, as I got a couple of other things to talk about. I'll have my morning cup of tea. Okay, this is the scene from 2001: A Space Odyssey. Okay, it's the Stargate sequence. Okay, so this is important with everything we've been talking about, or these references to the Stargate. Donald Trump having this program, the Stargate program. Okay, here is the Stargate, the film. Notice the pyramid and the ring here. Notice that in the dollar bill we have the Stargate ring and the pyramid. Both of these things actually really combine or are mirrors of one another in terms of the physical aspect of the world and the metaphysical aspect of the world, if there is such a thing as a metaphysical aspect of the world. But so let me show you a little bit of this sequence, right? So we know that connects to the dollar bill. We know it connects to what's being said by Donald Trump at the minute. Okay, let's just I just want to play just a second of this, and I've actually picked out this particular spot because it's the best representation of what I'm trying to say. So if you see what's happening here, Dave is heading towards this convergence spot here. He's like traveling, look at all these lines coming into this convergence spot, which is, if we go to the dartboard, if you can imagine you were traveling to the center of the dartboard and you were the dart getting ready to hit the bullseye and go through this outer bullseye, which is 25, which is the Stargate, the ring. Okay? So that's really what I wanted to kind of point out there, is that if you look at the way all these parts of the pie converge, to this central point, the 2001: A Space Odyssey, what Odysseus, okay, let's go back to the story of Odysseus. How does he prove himself when he finally gets home? Okay, well, he has to shoot the arrow through all the axe heads that are lined up. If you ever look at the top, if you ever look at the eye of an axe head, well, it's an eye shape. It's the Vesica Pisces, and he's going to shoot his bowman. Dave Bowman is going to shoot his arrow, the dart, through the pyramid into the Stargate here. Okay, and what we need to be aware of is that this right here is worth 25. We also should be aware that this central bullseye is the 50, the 50, or 5, or the 50, which actually will be interesting because 213, the star of Lucas numbers, okay, is 50 days from Christmas. Okay, and the stop on the way, which is halfway, which is 25, is 119, okay, the 19th of January. We'll come on to that in just a second, okay, because I just wanted to point out a couple of other things, right? There's a couple of other decodes that I'm itching to do on this, but I don't have time to do it right now. And I haven't sat down and run the numbers yet, so maybe if I can remember to do it, I'll try and do it tonight. But that's us, these are the little sections of the dartboard here, and we're heading in to the bullseye, right? Okay, I think that's pretty self-explanatory. Now, what the other thing I wanted to do is I wanted to point out today's date, which if we write it the American way, let's write it the American way first. 2, and I'll just write the numbers. I'm not going to put the dividers in. Okay, that's today's date, American format. Okay, so we have the 25, 25 repeated. It's a very interesting number indeed. If we were to write it the English way, the correct way, the way I think probably the rest of the world writes the date. Okay, we have a very nice palindromic number. I mean, we're going to have to wait till May the 2nd for this to occur again in the American format. Okay, for this to occur in the American format. But today's date is 52225. Very nice with the palindromic references that we had with Billy Idol, especially because we've got to remember that Billy Idol, Bill, I, one, and doll, the dollar, okay, the dollar, okay, Billy Idol is his name is a direct reference to the $1 bill, okay. This is very important. And what's also important with these 25 connections is his birthday is 11. Oh, I want to put a line there. 11:30, November the 30th, the Great Scott. Let me show you some number jumps now, and let me show you the connection with Billy Idol and this palindromic number and the Hoover Dam. And then we'll move on with life again. Okay, what I have in here, okay, is a palindromic number, 25,152 days from Billy Idol's birthday, 11/30, 1955, through to 10/10. Okay, super duper important because the $10 bill references the dam fold. And in fact, you go from 10 to 10 on the $10 bill. You put that fold line in there and you get the dam. Okay. So this is super duper important. What is more important is the fact that Madonna has a very similar palindromic number. Okay. 24142. From her birthday through to the 20th of September. Yeah, so those two palindromic numbers are only separated by 20 days. Okay, and hers looks like numbers of Christmas Eve, and his look like numbers of Christmas. Okay, and the midpoint between these two dates, the 20th of September and 10/10, is the 30th of September, which is the birthday of the Hoover Dam, or one of the birthdays of the Hoover Dam. Okay, the day it's dedicated. Now, so we have this. So we have this number. Okay. Now, what else is interesting is if we kind of and this. So we have a reference to the dam, the reference back to Madonna, the mother, and Billy Idol, the blue-eyed, blonde. Is he? I don't know if he's got blue eyes. Anyway, doesn't matter. But that kind of idea of the prodigal son with the blonde hair, and so what I've got here, so all tying to the Hoover Dam, right? And so what I've got here is I've got like the latest version of that palindromic number for Billy Idol, which was 25252. Okay, and that brings us out on 118, which was very interesting because this is just a few days before. Well, there's two reasons why this is really interesting. This is just it's just a few days before Donald Trump takes office again, and it also connects in with balance numbers with both Lucas numbers and with numbers that tie back in with Donald Trump, which is technically Fibonacci numbers. So what I want to do is I want to show you why this is important. But I think what I'll do is, before we get off this topic of the 25, right, And well, I mean, there's just so much to explain here. We'll just jump back to the dollar bill, right? And we'll just re-reference the idea that the dollar bill has a reference to 125 here with the quarter. This pattern here, this symbolism represents the quarter, the 25-cent piece, okay? And this represents a dollar. So we have this reference to 125 here as well. And also the idea of just 25-day jumps, okay? Because I'll show you why this is interesting in the dollar bill right now. Why these 25-day jumps are important. And also we need to remember that Donald Trump, you know, the references to the moon, being born on a blood moon, there was some other references to the moon as well with Donald Trump. But don't forget, you know, the quarter is a reference to the moon. It's the silver disc here, okay? And, well, this is another link to Donald Trump. I mean, obviously the 119 reads around the outside of this thing. Donald Trump, being Trump 88, has obviously a very good reference to 9/11 and obviously the 7/11 reference that he makes and everything else. This thing is based off of pieces of 8. We mustn't forget this. So the old Spanish dollar, right, which was divided into pieces of 8. What the quarter is 2 pieces of 8, okay? Hence its nickname, you know, the 2-bit. Yeah, 2 bits. Okay. Now remember, 2 pieces of 8. Yeah, 1/8, an eighth, and an eighth. Okay, so we have not only the number 18 referenced in here twice, but you know, an eighth. Yeah, 1/8 and 1/8. 88 referenced in the quarter. Yeah, referencing back to Donald Trump again and to 9/11. Okay, something that I also forgot to mention the other day. I think that might be in an old video somewhere though. Right. So what is important about some of the numbers that are in the dollar bill is that we have several jumps that encode 25-day jumps. Okay. So in the dollar bill, we have a reference to the number 10 and 11. Okay. Now, this can also be November the 10th, but what is important about 10/11 is it's the day after 10/10, okay? And if we do a number jump from that particular date, okay, because this is, you know, a fold in the dollar bill, our number jump through to the 5th of November is 25 days, when Donald Trump was re-elected, okay? From the 5th of November through to the Great Scott, which is Billy Idol's birthday, by the way, is another 25 days, okay? The Great Scott, St. Andrew's Day, okay? Why is it? That's why it's referenced in Back to the Future so much, okay? And obviously Donald Trump has Scottish heritage as well, you know. Then we go from St. Andrew's Day through to Christmas. It's another 25 days, okay? We're seeing a pattern here, aren't we? If we go from Christmas another 25 days, guess where we're at? We're at the day after the 118 there with Billy Idol. And we're one day before Donald Trump is inaugurated, okay? We're at 9/11 again. We're at 119, the 19th of January, okay? Then we'll go another 25 days, and look where we're going to be, 213. The start of Lucas numbers again, okay? So this is why these numbers, then we've done 125 days there, you know, and we're 50 days on from Christmas, okay? Absolutely nuts. If we go back to this, let me just go to this chart let's go to the 4 chart, okay? So this is the chart of Lorraine with an extra row scribbled in here, which is not normally in here, okay? But these numbers change the total numbers at the bottom here. These green numbers change to these purple numbers. And what we see is that Donald Trump numbers appear in here, okay? Really what this 4 row is here, when you reduce this down, okay, this is really a version of the Fibonacci sequence, okay? If the reduced Fibonacci sequence in its secular format is really these numbers if you reduce these down into its secular format. What I'm saying is that the root of these numbers here is Fibonacci, okay? I don't normally have it in here. It's interesting that, again, 1/4 is at the start of this. That's not normally in here. So this connection with the metaphysical, yeah, it's like a hidden row that's not normally in this table. 1/4, okay, I know that's back to front, but 1/4 is a quarter, okay? Now check out the numbers that come out in here. This line is just way too fat. Hang on. So check out, and I still can't write. So we got 45. Yeah, we've got 47 showing up. So obviously Donald Trump split term, 45 and 47. We got his birthday at the start of this thing. Look how many times the 27 shows up. And we're dealing with Lucas numbers right now. You know, look at our balance point in the middle of Lucas numbers here. I know I'm going fast here, but these are the two. This is the twin towers here. Yeah, 1 tower, 2 towers. This is why I've got them coloured in different colours. One's the metaphysical, one's the physical. We've got our 55 and 88 at the bottom of here. You know, look at one of our numbers here. 55 was a mirror point. In that previous video was a mirror point for 9/11 with this 17 as the mirror point, the 7th of January. And that 7th of January put Donald Trump back in office on the 20th, which happened to coincide with the death of Diana being 10,004 days previous to him coming into office on the 20th, yeah? It's just absolutely insane. I don't know how to explain all this stuff in a very short, concise video. Here's our 118 again, okay? In this pattern, yeah? Then we're on the 19th of January here, yeah? With our 10 completion number. He's gone right back into this doorway here on the 20th. Back into the tower and back into the temple, okay? The question is, has he gone into the temple to kick the bankers out or what? You know, what are we seeing? What's going to happen? And we've got lots of other interesting numbers here. The 116 that's on the dartboard. Yeah, 209 is going to be coming up. Yeah, we've got the Hoover Dam numbers here. And he was just referencing this with the 500 million with the China was paying or whatever it was to whoever. Remember, 2/9 is coming up, Super Bowl day, and as I said in many other videos, 2/9 is the perfect amalgamation of these two numbers. You know, 11 reduced down goes to 2, 18 reduced down goes to 9, and if you add 11 and 18 together, it comes out at 29 as well. So it's like a perfect reduction or a perfect combination of these two numbers. Yeah, because it does combine the numbers, but it also keeps the individuality of the two sides of the numbers as well. Okay, that's important when we're thinking about this, the new One World Trade Center, which is a twisted amalgamation of the Twin Towers, which I believe is a not a balanced it's not a truly balanced thing where it keeps both things individual as well. It kind of does, but it kind of reminds me more of the idea of bindweed, the vine going up a plant and eventually smothering it out. Okay, those things can be in balance, but boy, I know that's all over the place, but there's our 213 for Lucas numbers that's coming up as well. So, again, it becomes extremely difficult to like just pinpoint a particular date because all these numbers tie back in on themselves. Yeah, I think I'll leave it there because this video is way too long and I need to go do some work as well. So, all these 25-day jumps now, we can see that the next sort of big 25 is 213. And, today's date, though, in particular, today's date, 25225, is, again, a very good reference to all of this stuff as well. So I don't know. It feels like to me, though, if something's going to happen, I mean, I know we've seen a couple of big events with the plane crash thing was a pretty big deal. Actually, those two plane crashes were fairly big deals. But I feel like we need to see something quite, a little bit more substantial and a little bit more substantial. Obviously, never rule out the possibility of Madonna dying on one of these days coming up. And one other thing I just want to point out is the number 72 here, or 27. Again, remember that the balancing numbers in the Lucas cycle is 22 and 77. Okay, those are our two twin numbers. Okay, and just look how many times this shows up. And there we go, 27 into 28 there, 27 into 28. But notice how many times this shows up with Donald Trump. Okay, that's pretty important that this is showing up like this. These numbers. So I do feel like we are at a point, at a junction here that is going to be hot for these numbers. And also remember that the 218 eclipse numbers comes out on February the 7th. Okay, from this eclipse date will be 2727 days. Okay. Hopefully I've got this stuff kind of in my brain right. Hopefully I'm not telling you the wrong thing here, but yeah, important stuff. This number, these numbers here to do with balance. Okay, you can see how it all ties together. All right, thanks for watching. Catch you on another one soon. All right, cheers, bye.